Hi, everybody! Now, you might have noticed that things have been rearranged a little bit. Had a fun thing happen in the trailer today. Had a power socket explode. All over the place. Big zap boom. It's a bit of an old trailer. It's probably having some electrical problems. May or may not be able to get it fixed in the future. Had power loss for a while. Moved some stuff around. Had some things rearranged while the situation was being remedied. So things have been rearranged slightly, and we've moved some stuff around. So yeah, that's how that is. We didn't have a video last week because the video I recorded was actually kind of embarrassing. I do have a couple weird nervous fidgets. I do this tongue thing where I'm constantly licking my lip or sticking my tongue out. And I did not care for that, the way it looked. I didn't think people were going to take to it very well. So I didn't have a video that week. Also, I was kind of busy, too, so I didn't really have time to properly edit that one. So suffice to say, I have a new intro card. Hope you like it. I can use a simple audio DAW to make my own stuff like that. It's fun. It's cool. But anyway, without further ado, I am doing more love bites since people seem to respond to that really well. You gotta keep your audience happy. I have some other things I want to do. I want to do the new Yngwie Malmsteen album, like Parabellum. I want to do some stuff from Parabellum, because it's new. But yeah, I'm going to be doing some love bites, because that seems to be a very popular band right now. And at the end of the day, this channel, I created it because, believe it or not, I've actually been an internet personality for a very long time. Mostly under different various personas. This is probably the first time in the history of the internet where I've decided to be an internet personality as myself instead of being like a character. Like, and you know, some people still do. I think there's this guy called Nick Ricardo Avocado or whatever. But no, I did nutty shit like, I was an anime guy called Dave Faulkner. I had shades and a leather jacket, looked like the Terminator. I did another one where I was like a space alien. I was a Roswell Gray, Zebulex of Nylar. That was actually really fun. I should get back to that at some point. But no, I just decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be the real me. I'm not gonna fuck around. And honestly, I've gotten more positive attention since then. So that's some pretty clear messaging from y'all. So, without further ado, let's get on with Love Bites, Set the World on Fire. Well, there's a generic title. And my favorite song by that title is by Megadeth. But anyway, Love Bites, Set the World on Fire. 3, 2, 1, go.
世界に火をつけろ。Set the world on fire! 「
Legit. Very legit. Normally, I don't like stationary stage antic for vocalists. I like them to move around a little bit. But in this case, I think it honestly suited the setting, the environment, and the situation when they have a fairly crowded stage, kind of small, but with tons of flamethrowers, going for a bit of a Rammstein look, but on a slightly smaller scale. And I love the way these girls were dressed in these very late Victorian conservative dresses. But it's a sort of a natural beauty. It's not a made-up beauty. It's natural beauty. And they found a way to mix the blood and guts brutality of heavy metal with classical feminine beauty, and it works perfectly. You wouldn't think that pairing would work, but as it turns out, yeah, it does. I believe that this band in general, Love Bites, has something familiar and something different to offer at the same time. I think they really are a very unique act, honestly. With very beautiful and intelligent young women with a bright future ahead of them in the realm of music. Let's just hope that they don't get screwed over by some greedy asshole at a record company. You know, it's the same old story, especially in the history of rock music. And you might not think that's so relevant to the conversation today, but trust me, some things never change. Greedy record labels taking advantage of young, naive artists, young men and young women who are great musicians but don't really know how the business is done yet, you know? You know, if you're lucky, and if you're kosher enough for him, maybe Dave Mustaine might take you in and take you under his wing a little bit, maybe produce your stuff for you. You know, there's always guys like that who don't want to ruin you because they were musicians themselves once and they get it. Suffice to say, the second half of the song was considerably more exciting than the first half. And I really appreciate that they built up to the craziness and sanity. And like my body language and my motions were kind of going with that. I thought, damn, this got nuts. Started out relatively calm, and then it got nuts. And, you know, power metal is divided into two categories. There's European power metal and there's US power metal. Right? US power metal is basically just Americanized Judas Priest or Iron Maiden. And it's a little slower, although some bands did experiment with thrash tempos. I think Metal Church did that on a couple songs on their first album, actually. European power metal is more in the speed metal category. And there really is a fine line between European power metal style and thrash. And Love Bites is really close to that line, at least in this song. They're really close on that line between thrash and EPM. And for large swaths of the song, I wasn't sure which side of the line they were honestly on. You know? It's like, are they more thrash or are they more EPM? And the truth is, I'm not even really sure. I want to say that they're more EPM-ish or more thrash, depending on what section of the song you're hearing. You know, it's as if they kind of combine the two together almost. And it's absolutely wonderful. I can see why people are behind these girls. They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. Like, and if someone came along and tried to tell me, like, oh, Love Bites sucks, I'd be like, you fucking nuts, dude? You know, you'd have to be nuts not to see these girls are great. So, rating the song, wow, like, no words. No words. It's been a long time since I've seen a band in this particular subgenre be this truly excellent. It's been quite some time. You got a great guitar player, you got a great bass player and drummers, like they're in the pocket of where the music hits that sweet spot and becomes basically perfect. They got that pocket, so they're definitely not U2. Suffice to say, this is basically perfect. I have no reason to take any points away from it at all. Honestly. So without being too overly praiseful, I don't even know if that's a word, but you get what I mean, even if it's not really a word. I'll make my own dictionary and add a bunch of my own made up words to it. That the meaning is clear by what suffixes and prefixes they use, but they're my own original words. Praiseful, being full of praise, being full of of gleeful praise of someone else or something else. So I don't want to be too praiseful of these girls, because that might take might take attention away from someone else, or it might be overrating them. But yeah, this is about as close to perfection as you can possibly get. So this is an easy 5 out of 5 for me. Now, I want to rate the lyrics separately. I do my lyrical analysis. I know not everyone's into that, but I don't care. It's just what I do. It's just what I do. Because I'm an intelligent man who likes intelligent things, and I like to do them intelligently. Oh yes, I can sew English right now. Anyway, make sure this is the right song. Yep. The blue moon colors the blaze, stabbing myself with the thunder. The predetermined imitation, and emotionless and a fearless smile. Interesting. This is a very fascinating combination of words here. Well, yeah, sometimes the moon can appear very blue during certain times of the year. The various phases of the moon can either make the moon look a little more bluish or a little whitish. I think new moons are a little on the bluish side of the spectrum, I think. And full moons can also seem a little yellowish. So that's obviously just a light spectrum through the atmosphere. Otherwise, it's probably just a normal-ass white light. But the blue moon colors the blaze, so I'm assuming that means that there's either somewhere near sunset where you got the sun and the moon at the same time, or something's on fire. And having something being on fire, that would certainly be more heavy metal. Stabbing myself with the thunder. So what, you're being stabbed by a really loud sound? Like maybe that's the thrill of something, and then the thrill is pounding, your heart's pounding, and that's the thunder, and it feels like a stabbing, shooting pain. And just so you know, if you feel a stabbing, shooting pain in your chest and your heart's beating faster, that's not necessarily a sign that you have some medical problem. That could just be that your heart's beating so fast, you got so much adrenaline running through you that it kind of hurts and you need to calm down. The predetermined imitation. Well, libertarian free will is basically nonsense. Most everything is controlled in a fairly fatalistic way. Science more or less has proven that. And, excuse me, pagans in pre-Christian times already had that belief. And more of the things they believed are being supported these days. Interesting how that turned out. An imitation. So an imitation of something genuine, an emotionless and a fearless smile. I'm not sure how to analyze that one there. So we can safely say that this is sort of a late evening or nighttime event that is extremely exciting, and you got adrenaline pumping. Boom, boom, boom. Flowing blood and crimson blade, devastated resolution. Heat haze is waving far away. Who's going to be sacrificed? Sacrificed. So I see one or two scenarios here. I see either a war with swords, likely katanas, or it doesn't have to be katanas. Could be eppies, for all I know. Well, if it's a crimson blade, it wouldn't be a stabbing weapon. It would be a slicing weapon. But not to overanalyze here. So either looking at a crazy battle or a sacrifice ritual. I'm assuming it's a battle. That makes more sense. On fire, just like a falling flower, on fire until this body rots away, burning down to the gates of hell. Well, that sure is gruesome. Yeah, just like a falling flower, until this body rots away. Yep, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. And just in case you didn't know, that's a plague song that the little children sing. That's from the Black Plague period. It's very disgusting, actually. When I was a kid in school, they didn't even let us sing it because it was a plague song. It's harmless. It's just a little macabre. Jeez. Life is a little macabre. But yeah, bodies rotting, falling down, burning down to the gates of hell. So this is just a big fiery battle. Distorted madness is sneering, incompetent, cowardly fools. Distorted madness is sneering. Ooh. Man, that creates a really crazy image in my mind. Ugh. It's kind of scary, actually. Incompetent, cowardly fools. Well, there's certainly plenty of those people in the world. A pitiful and painful punishment. What, is that like when the French or the Japanese... The French and the Japanese were known very historically for punishing people for desertion. Well, every nation does, but I'm just saying that France and Japan historically have been like the two countries where the punishment for running away has been particularly severe. Like, if you were the French and you ran away from battle, and I know a lot of people think the French are wimps, but that's not really true. It's basically just a meme. They would literally just straight up kill you if they even suspected you of deserting. And then the Japanese had this lovely thing they did where they would force you to kneel down and they would take a katana and slice the back of your neck. You know, that cuts off the top of your spinal column. That's relatively instant painless death, actually. In a way, it could actually be considerably crueler. On fire, dressed in an armor of steel, on fire, if I'm burned again and again, I'll rise up from the gates of hell. Dressed in an armor of steel, well, that's just battle armor. If I'm burned again and again, I'll rise up from the gates of hell. Well, their love bites goes again, mixing sort of tribal, paganistic ideas of life, of new life from death, mixed with the image of the gates of hell from Christianity. I've been informed in my comment sections by some people that that's sort of a thing over there in Southeast Asia, where they sort of mix the two together. So that makes for a fairly interesting cultural milieu to kind of look into. That's quite both. So yeah, that's just a simple chorus repeat. And you know, some people act like chorus repeats are this great sin, but I don't really think so, honestly. As long as there's not too many of them. 3 or 4 is fine. This is a relatively short song, not a lot of space for that. I'd say that the lyrics are very well crafted. Maybe they're only slightly vague. But it's okay. It's perfectly okay. It's intelligent, it's artistic. And think about it, it really does kind of leave more to the imagination if you want to look. So if you want to read the lyrics, sort of let your imagination run wild and fill in the gaps, you know? So that's actually very clever. So all in all, I would say that the rhyme scheme of the lyrics has a nice poetic flow for music. It fits, obviously, with the cadence of the music it has to. It all just sets so perfectly to the background of the music itself. So I somewhat reluctantly give this a 5 out of 5 as well. I can't believe it. A nitpicky snob like myself, as my ex used to say. You know, my ex-boyfriend used to say, like, oh, you're a snob. I share music with you and you just act like you hate it. It's like, no, I don't hate it. I'm very picky about quality. If it's not up to my standards, I'm just like, plebeian, you pleb. How dare you show me this plebeian crap? You know, obviously didn't say it with that voice, but it's sort of that image of like the sort of Roman patrician era, the upper crust. You know, some people accuse me of acting that way sometimes. It's very hyperbolic to say so. The name of this channel is actually kind of sarcastic. But yeah, these girls are basically perfect. I may not fully know what you're doing, Love Bites, but keep doing it. It's working. It's definitely working. I could totally expect that you could go to a Love Bites concert and be fully and completely engaged the entire time. No hiding in the bathroom until the next set. No, pushing or shoving to try and get out. It's like, you're going to love this. And if you don't, then there's probably something wrong with you. Either that or you just don't like the genre. There's certainly put it that. You know what they say, if it's too loud, you're too old. I don't know if that's really the best attitude to take, but that's what some people would say. So yeah, there it is. That's my reaction to Love Bites. Set the World on Fire. Generic title, but I don't really take points away for titles. It's okay. Titling things is hard. Like, I work on my books almost constantly, and I can never seem to find a fully satisfactory title for any of my works, honestly. Anyway, with that being said, there'll be a link to the description to my books below. Please buy, download, and read them. And as I always say, tschüss, peace.